Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born.
Riders on the
Actor on its own.
storm.
Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to.
Denim and Pros. My name is Dr. Michelle Moroz.
And I'm Brian Swanson.
We are Denim and Pros. We're business casual.
With pearls of wisdom.
From the porch.
From the porch. See the sign? It even says the porch. It's that way. Anyhow.
I'm trying to share.
Oh, you share like.
Yep.
That's kind of part of our conversation today, isn't it? Sharing? Maybe not.
No, it's not. Riders on the storm sharing. We share.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, don't forget to like and share.
Oh, okay. Yes. In that
and
case.
Follow. And, like add us to your podcast list
Your
and
playlist.
Spotify and all those other fun things.
Yes. Now, what's really funny about this is Riders on the Storm. I thought because we have a good 2 feet of snow outside here that I would be in my office and Brian would be here in your man cave to do the
office.
show in his office. And
the man cave's in the other room.
And he's like, "I'm coming to get you." I'm like, "What?"
Why not?
He's got a truck, of course.
I have 2 of them.
He can pick
Just
me
one
up.
got broken yesterday.
What happened to your truck?
It got broken.
Oh, is that the one you're out way?
I was way out east in the middle of nowhere in God's country, if you will.
Which truck is broken? The new one or the old one?
The pickup.
The old one.
The Chevy. The Ford we just drove.
Oh, that's true. You picked it up from the Ford.
But the Chevy 1500, I went out, this part of sharing, I went out to save somebody. And it was a matter of getting from my house to a little place in a little town called Simla. Well, the road between here and there was closed off. So I took the backcountry roads. In the process of taking the backcountry roads, I found somebody else that was stranded. Picked them up. We went on. Then I found somebody else that was stranded.
Oh, how nice of you.
So we picked them up and said, "Hey, we're going to Simla and everything will be fine." Well, about 1.5 miles, I think it was, probably about 200 yards from our turn, but about 1.5 miles where we were going to be fully clear, I heard this weird thunk sound underneath the truck. And I thought it was just because the snow got a little deep. Well, as it turned out, the left front drive shaft for the left front wheel decided to collapse or do whatever it's done. It's too cold to go figure it out.
And the snow's too deep, yeah.
So I drove a 2-wheel drive and we got home. But yeah, that was an adventure. We all got snowed in. I ended up back in the place where I started, which was Calhan, because the road was closed from Calhan to Lyman, and we had to go to Simla, which was in between. So we ended up back in Calhan, and everybody was fine and dandy. I dropped them off at the gas station, and they figured their way out from there.
Wow, you had an adventure yesterday.
It was an adventure yesterday, but it's part of sharing, because what else would, we talk about doing things for people. The reason why we went is because this person was stranded in a church because they had got stuck the night before because of this snowstorm.
Oh.
And they were in the basement of the church and had no food at the time and all by themselves. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go get them and take them home.
But you never made it to the church. You never said church.
But I never made it to the church.
Oh, but because you never said church. Oh.
Nope, I never made it back to the church because we ended up back in Calhan.
But
just to save ourselves.
But you helped a lot of other people on the way.
Kind of, yeah.
Wow.
3 other people.
Wow.
Now they have to go back out and get their cars and everything else. One was on the way to Kansas. The other one, he lives in Lyman, so it's not too big of a deal.
Wow.
So, but they're both stranded out in the middle of God's country.
Well, Colorado's definitely been hit by a winter wonderland, and that's what we brought this title up, Riders on the Storm, because there are people out there driving in this because they have to. And then there's people like Brian who are just insane and came and got me.
Yeah. If I wouldn't have gone out yesterday, I wouldn't have broke my truck, but it could have broke on the highway. We don't know.
No, it would have broke while you're going faster on the highway. At least you're going slow and going through snow, and it kind of slowed you down.
Oh, it definitely slowed us down because we had to dig us out. It took us about an hour to dig us out.
That's insane.
And all we had to dig us out was 1 pair of gloves between 4 people. 3 guys, 1 gal. She was in the back of the truck, staying warm, and the 3 of us took shifts digging with the gloves
because it's cold
and the ice scraper.
because it was a good 24 yesterday.
So yeah, yesterday.
24
Well, it was 29
Fahrenheit.
out there where we were at, but
Okay, 24.
the ice scraper digging out.
Yeah, but
'cause
for
we were
anyone
kinda
watching
high-sided.
from California or Arizona, they're doing 20. You're
Yeah,
outside
20
in
what?
20? Yeah, it's really ridiculously cold today.
So in the comments, tell us your story.
Yeah, but what we were talking about with Riders in the Storm is when you're in a storm, your first instinct is you want to fight it. You want to fight the storm. But like with him driving that truck, and like in mine, I've got a car. I've got a little car. When I start sliding, you've got to learn. You cannot fight the slide. You cannot fight the storm, because when you're fighting the storm, you make it worse.
Well, I think we got to back you up first.
Okay.
Because the first thing is when you look out the window and go, should I go out?
Yeah.
Should I go out in the storm? Should I take it? And what we talk about, should I take a chance? One, do I have the vehicle for it? Two, do I have enough gas?
Are you prepared for it?
Are you prepared with the proper clothes? Three, do you know how to drive in it? And four, five, whatever it is, are you scared of it?
Yeah. So we all have storms in life.
You have to start at the beginning. So it doesn't matter what our storm is. Maybe it's snow, maybe it's rain.
It could be life.
Maybe it's just life. What is your storm?
Are you ready?
Are you ready for it? Are you prepared for it? And are you willing to fight it? Are you willing to go forth?
And sometimes fight it. Well, the thing is
go forth and what's the word?
Go forth and prosper. I don't know.
Something like that.
The thing is you have to assess what your storm is. Mm-hmm. And you, as our friend Sally Ware always talks about, she talks about being prepared for storms. And I always talk about A/B testing, that you have to kind of take an assessment of your life. Mm-hmm. If this happens, then I'll do this or this. Or if this happens, I'll do this or this. And people are like, well, how do you know what's going to happen? I don't. I just know worst case scenario in my mind, best case scenario. Am I willing to do which one?
Right.
And then I go out. If something happens, I have a basic idea of how to react, good or bad. And I was relating it to snow and ice and all that, because when I look out that window, I'm not leaving the house. Why? Not because I'm afraid of it. Okay.
Yeah, you are.
Not because I'm afraid of it. I know that I'm a terrible person to drive in the snow. I'm also a terrible person to drive at night because I'm night blind, but I also get snow blind.
See, I'm the opposite, because I'm ready to go. When this kind of stuff comes up, I'm rearing and ready to go.
I know he wants.
But I have to ask, who's the Facebook user that just typed a couple of things in, because it's just coming up as Facebook user. Tell me who you are in the comments.
Oh yeah, because we don't see your name.
Because they say they must be here in Colorado, because of course they didn't go out yesterday.
Yes,
there's a lot of people who just hunkered down home home yesterday.
And so my thing is, I look at that and there is nothing worth me going out risking my life, or if I'm a great driver, risking that someone else doesn't know what they're doing to hit me. So I just stay out of that. But there's more reason on that.
Hi, Sandy.
My assessment of the situation also is I don't ever want to hit my head again. Remember, I had a car accident, so I don't like getting hit. I don't want to ever jump or jump.
Yeah, but you weren't in a snowstorm when you got hit.
I was in an ice storm.
Oh, I thought you were on dry pavement.
No.
Oh, see.
It was hailing. A hailstorm was coming. I don't know. Yeah, we were having a series of hailstorms, and it was during the quiet part of the hailstorm, and it was just people were rushing, people trying to get out of there before the big hail
right.
hit. Yeah, that's
well. Part of my thing is I grew up in Indiana. Wasn't much of a driver there for very long, but I still had a few snow things. Then I ended up in Ohio. Dove through blizzards like you couldn't see 3 feet in front of you. It was easier to turn off your headlights and keep moving and going forward. North Dakota over the years. So I'm not scared of it. I love it. I
grew up in Nebraska.
However, yesterday was an example of where I hit the end of the road. Because when I broke the 4-wheel drive, I went to 3-wheel drive. And that stopped me, and it just in front of us, you could see that it was probably going to get deeper. Yeah. So I had no way of going forward. So we had to turn back. We all decided that it was probably smarter for us to turn back, or we'd still be sitting there this morning.
Dear Michelle, please come get us. And I do nope.
But
I'd hire a tow truck to get you.
Yeah, and then this person who was stranded, he tells me today that he's going to go walk the 9 miles to home. I told him he's out of his mind.
He'd freeze.
Yeah, I told him he's out of his money. He's stupid to do it.
Yeah. So you have to assess your storm. Make sure you're prepared. So I highly suggest if you are stuck in a winter storm and if you've never seen snow, liken it to being on a really rainy day where the road is slightly flooded so that when you hit your brakes, you hydroplane. Take it like that because ice is constant hydroplaning and you have to learn how to drive straight as your car's doing this.
So taking this back to our metaphor
Yes.
of storm, whether it's like we said before, whether it's ice, snow, or
life
in general or business, how do you take it? I mean, do you drive on? These are questions you have to ask yourself, but
it depends on how badly you want to get to where you.
It depends on what your goal is. How bad did I want to get to Simla?
Mm-hmm.
How I didn't honestly want to get there, but I was already committed to it.
Well, the other thing is you also had other lives involved at that point.
And then at that point when we got stuck, I had 3 other people to worry about besides my 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. So you always,
my son was with me too.
You do have to assess all of those kind of things. And so when you are looking at your life, if you are stuck in a storm right now, like in Colorado, and you really aren't going outside
physical snowstorm,
because most places are closed, take a day of looking at your life of things that could happen.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Sandy, our Facebook user that was in there, Sandy said she was supposed to go to Greeley and decided not to. Well, it probably wouldn't have been smart because the roads were worse going north.
Yeah, north is much worse. My sisters are saying it's horrible up north in Denver and above.
So yeah, oh my goodness. What? I just thought of it. What is your thing? Your risk assessment?
SWOT.
SWOT.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT.
It goes to the storm. What's the storm? What's the strength? What's the weakness? It's all there.
He just said I was right.
I did not say that. I did not use the word right in there.
He agreed with me. Exactly. Whenever you have a storm in your life, if it may happen, you look at it. What are my strengths right now? What are my weaknesses? What are my opportunities? What are my threats? The threats are the storms. And then how do you work through it with your strengths, your weaknesses, and opportunities? Oh, thank you for bringing that up.
How far? Like yesterday, it's a matter of, okay, I can see the intersection I have to get to, but I know that I have to analyze the fact that is it going to get deeper? Is it not? Is it going to be more of a problem? Mm-hmm. Well, we analyzed the fact that it was going to be more of a problem, so that's why we turned around and went back.
And so, like right now,
which in itself was a challenge on a dirt road.
I have another physical storm. You know, I've gone through the brain injury, the breast cancer, 8 other surgeries, lost my shoulder, had to rebuild it. You know, all that kind of stuff. Well, now
red light special.
I am 6 of 9, 7 of 9 from Star Trek. But anyways, I have a new storm, and this storm I had to do the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats of it all. And the doctor's like, what do we want to do? Well, they did a whole measuring of the hole in my heart, and we were thinking it's going to be a really tiny hole because when they put the stethoscope to my chest, you don't hear it. No. When you do the EEG, there's obviously blood going into the wrong part of my chamber of my heart. I mean, it's really obvious in that bubble test. And when they did the measuring of the hole, it's bigger than we anticipated it to be. So my brain went, ah! And then the other part of me was like, good. Strengths, weakness. The reason why I work so fast is I already did my strengths, my weaknesses, my opportunities, and my threats of this. Mm-hmm. And so when they told me we're not going to be able to do what we thought we were going to do, we're going to have to do this next level.
Level up.
By doing a SWOT analysis, it helps you prepare for bad news, basically. Because in theory, someone telling you your hole in your heart we thought was teeny tiny, it's bigger. We're going to have to go with a whole different thing. Hmm? That would normally freak a person out.
Duct tape.
I didn't freak because it was like, okay, well, I already looked at this and I already looked at how it was going to happen. And okay, I'm good. I'm willing to go this direction. It's like it's a storm. Do I want to sit on medication for the rest of my life and hope I don't have another stroke?
Right.
Do I want to get it fixed no matter what? Yeah. Fixed. I don't want to be on all the medication for the rest. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a quick analysis of the storm.
Well, we also, I'm going to take it to another another metaphor of our pets.
Oh yeah, that's hard.
Because the hardest part about pets is the fact that it's so darn expensive. Can you afford to fix that pet? So you have to make judgment calls on based on, well, everything's based on time,
Money,
money. How, you know,
insurance.
we had one animal many years ago that we put down because they were going to require shots and everything else on a daily basis, and our lifestyle did not attest to that.
Well, and a lot of people are having problems with just basic food right now. So having a pet would make it really, really difficult.
Pet's actually one of your worst investments if you want to save money, actually. Did you know that?
I know that.
You know, they
say
the worst investment is to invest in anything that eats.
Eats and doesn't give food money back. So children.
Yeah. Well, children, you can eventually get the money back.
Well, I told my children,
Sort of.
I begged my children not to get a pet when they moved out, because that was one of the first things I did when I moved out. Is I was so sad and alone when I was in college, you know. Mm-hmm. And I moved out and I was on my own. I'm like, I'm so sad. I really wish something loved me when I came home. And so I bought a puppy.
See, I know some people don't like cats, but cats are usually the best for that because they don't take as much attention.
I bought the cutest little puppy, and he ate all the floorboards, all my books, all the rough, and I'm renting an apartment. So not only did I have to feed him, but I had to replace the carpet, the doors, all the.
So I got a little spendy, did it?
Oh my goodness gracious! Yes.
And that didn't include the feeding that you had to give him, the walk that you had to take him outside all the time, especially being in an apartment. Our light just went out.
Yeah, it did.
It went poof. Oh well. Ghosts are back.
Who you gonna call? Tony Mizell. Tony's a Ghostbuster.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, we have to SWAT our storms and figure out what we want to do. What's our objective? Where are we going? How are we going to get there? And everything. And that was yesterday was a perfect example of all of that.
We're all riders in storms. And when you're looking at your life and when you're looking at your business, you need to look at the potential storms ahead of you. Mm-hmm. What kind of competition do you have? What are they doing?
Is it a small storm? Is it a big storm?
Yeah. You've got to do a SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Be prepared, because we're all riders on storms, and you need to be able to ride it when you need to ride it.
Is it sprinkling? Or is it a hurricane?
Do you want to fight the storm, or do you want to turn into it?
I want to be like the Silver Surfer.
Just freeze it and keep going.
My surfboard, and I can ride any storm.
Yeah.
So, bringing up Marvel. Actually, that's DC, I think.
Yeah, I think that's DC too.
I think so.
What about
yes, that is DC.
Oh, you have a Comic-Con.
Not so many con next week.
Already next week?
November 16th.
Holy smokes, that came fast.
Tomorrow's the 9th. 9 and 7 is 16. So next week.
Not So Mini Con is here in Colorado Springs at the COS Hub. It's on Austin Bluffs. If you're out here, come out and see us. It's what, 4 hours? It's not very long.
It's not very long. 11 to 4. So it's 5 hours.
5 hours. We have a lot of fun. We've got a whole bunch of vendors there, and
30. I'll be at 30 this afternoon.
Okay.
Well, yesterday I was at 26.
I'll be there with one of the big sponsors, the Perfect Publishing.
Yep.
My publisher.
Uh-huh.
So if you're interested in like republishing a book, or you want to talk to someone about your book, come see me. I'll be at the Not So Mini Con there at representing
November 16th, 2024.
And if you are a vendor, if you're a geek vendor and you want to be a geek vendor at Not So, write him. Go to the Not So Mini Con page, or write straight to Brian and say, hey, I've got a product I want to end, because I'm pretty sure you still have room, don't you?
Well, that's what I said. I had 26 yesterday. I've got 4 more sitting in my queue that I have to get with today.
Okay. How many are you allowing?
30.
Oh. Call quick.
Well, I've already, like I said, I got 4 in the queue right now that I have to get back with this afternoon or this evening early.
Okay. But there's a lot of storms out there. A lot of us are riding them right now. Don't be afraid. Just be prepared.
Right. Well, today was a perfect week. Perfect scenario. Some people had a real big heartache with the way Tuesday went, and whether it doesn't matter what side you're on or anything like that, but you know, life will go on. It will continue. It doesn't matter who one person is.
Yeah. And the thing is I've said this on the live I did earlier. Don't allow something that's completely, you did your part, you voted. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you did your part. Now, if you didn't vote and you're complaining, don't even talk.
Complain about.
But if you voted, Just realize you did your part. And normally, I say, Byron Katie, there's my control, the other person's control, and God's control. You did your part. You did what you can control. You voted. Now, that bigger picture was maybe if you didn't win or if you did win. That's great if you won. It's not so great if you didn't, your people didn't win. But the thing is don't let something big and overarching that is not literally poking you in the nose right now destroy your life.
Well, I use another example of that too. Is we vote or not vote for? We root for a sports team, be it football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, and then we get mad at the TV because they didn't win or whatever, and we throw things at the. Well, some people do. We get upset with the team in that, but if you stop and think about it, that team's not paying your check.
They're not feeding you.
They're not feeding you. They're not putting food on your table. So why get that upset? So a little understanding I get, but
what got me on that part of that topic was I was seeing people on TikTok just screaming and crying, and they were so upset that they're quitting their jobs because their boss didn't vote like they did. You have to understand they're thinking in different ways. There's whole different economic features when it boss to you. So don't be on TikTok or anything screaming and saying that your employer sucks, because they can fire you.
They'll fire you for that. Yeah.
And then you have just cut off the arm that feeds you because you're so upset at the moment.
Yeah.
How many times have you been with your parents and you got mad at what they said, but then a couple of days later,
you forgot what it was.
You forgot what it was, and they still love you and you still love them. So remember, don't end relationships. Don't end things that keep a roof over your head because you're angry right now.
Well, there was one that I saw that was out there that they fired their immigrant housekeeper.
Okay.
Because they didn't vote like they taught them to vote.
Taught them to vote?
Exactly.
Okay.
That to me is coercion. Over the top.
Coercion.
Over the top.
But that's the whole thing. Riding out the storm. And if you right now think America's in a storm, write it out. It's 4 more years. And if not, make it better.
Well, it's another
week. Better person.
Get over it.
Be a better person. You don't have to contribute to the chaos that you see. You don't have to add to it.
No.
And as Brian and I have said many, many a time, you get what you ask for. And if you keep thinking that the world is horrible and everything's horrible, blah, 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 you're going to get the blah, blah, blah horrible. So start looking for the good.
Well, I see all this stuff going on social media, and it drives me crazy. Like I said,
I took it off my phone.
And some of it it drives me insane. And I want to sit there and go, boop, 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 boop.
Nope.
But then I know what's going to happen is it's going to start something new.
Yeah, don't.
Why do I need to start another chaos?
Don't start chaos.
When there's plenty of other people doing it themselves.
If you're going to do anything, add positive thoughts. Put pictures of puppies and kittens and baby seals. I don't care what you're doing, but do something happy, because the world needs more happy thoughts right now, because we are spiraling in a negative vortex. So let's pull ourselves out of it. How do we get out of a storm? How do you fight a spin in ice or water? Just turn into it. But not too hard, but turn into it.
Yeah, it's one overturn.
Yeah, you overturn.
Oversteer.
You're going to go the other way. So just turn into it and be good to yourself.
So yeah, there may be a storm, but write it out or get out.
Or get prepared so you can do the next level of it. So that's really what we were talking about with the riders of the storm. Riders in the storm of the storm, isn't it? Riders on the storm. We're all riders. We're all in a storm, just different levels.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make anybody better. Doesn't make anybody worse. We're all in our own little canoe doing what we got to do. So go do what you got to do.
Well, hopefully you're not in a hurricane in our canoe.
That would be bad. I was just thinking of all the people in Carolinas and Florida. Whew.
Well, I'm thinking about being in the snow in a Prius.
Oh, that's a canoe.
That's a raft.
Yeah, on my way to my procedure on Wednesday morning when the storm hit.
How was your trip up there? Oh, you went to Carson. You went down.
We went down, and it was bad. I mean, the ice on the streets were like 2 inches thick. We just kind of we have a big heavy car, so we were going okay. And then
I was actually waiting for a phone call.
we watched a car slide off. It was a smaller car, like just say a smaller car slide off, hit a light post. We watched the light post fall, and then like all the cars were slamming on the brakes, and so slamming on the brakes on ice is bad. So everyone's like sliding, and
nobody hit anybody?
No.
Nice.
Well, the light fell, so there was one lane, so people were slamming and then sliding into the one path around the pole. But we all did just fine. We were far enough back that I just saw the light move. I didn't see all the other stuff. And then when we got there, it's like, oh, that was bad.
Too bad you didn't have a dash cam.
Could
have posted it. Oh. It could have gone viral. But could have been famous.
But no one got hurt, so that's good.
Well,
yeah, and got to the hospital, and a lot of people had canceled. Hospitals do not cancel surgeries. That all just keeps going. So a lot of people weren't making it in, and so I moved up in my time schedule, and coming home was much nicer, still slow, and then we got more snow.
Yeah. And then we got more, and then we got more.
And we're still getting more
coming.
Yeah, we're basically in an ice age here in Colorado. We're going to think it's summer when it gets back up to 32.
All right. So now that we've ridden out the storm.
Our long-winded storm of Denim and Pearls today.
No, we're not long-winded.
We aren't?
No, we're a little short.
Oh, cool.
That's okay.
It just feels like we were longer because we went through like 3 different versions of what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And it works that way.
So my name is Dr. Michelle Mraz.
And I'm Brian Swanson.
We are Denim and Pearls. We're business casual.
With pearls of wisdom.
From the porch. And we are...
Snow porch.
Right, snow porch. And we were talking about riding out storms, riders in the storm. And we all have storms. Just be prepared for them. And if you're not prepared, you can prepare while you're in it.
Mm-mm.
So you
don't forget to like and share.
Oh, yes, please like and share. And we'll see you next week, Friday. Notice we weren't on at noon. We came in on at 12:15-ish or something like that. So
you never know.
We never know when we're coming on, but it will always be Friday around noon, okay? We'll see you then.
You trying to make a commitment here?
Yes. And then we'll also, if you're in the Colorado area, we will see you at Not So Mini Con on
next
the 16th.
Saturday the 16th.
Colorado Springs Hub on Austin Bluffs. We'll see you then. Peace.
Peace.